Hey there everybody, my name is Keno and welcome back to your Toronto Maple Leafs franchise mode series here on the channel. Now, I've taken liberty and went through the preseason in between videos to try and tinker around with the lineups and see what worked, see what I could get working. And as you can see, the team kind of struggled, okay? Some actually interesting things happened in between the last two videos, even though it's been like just a little bit of time simmed, okay? We got a trade offer, which was absolutely ridiculous. And we made some not waiver moves because waivers aren't in effect yet in the preseason, but we did send some players down because we had a suggestion in the comments from the first video from one of our earlier viewers who said we should go with the youngsters. And you know what? I agree with that. I want to get the young players in the lineup because this team has a lot of potentially good young players. And you know what? In all the other series, I've been trying to fill roster spaces with NHL caliber veterans or NHL caliber players. This one, we have such a heavy top six currently that I wouldn't mind stacking up the bottom six or even the middle six with some youth, okay? So, preseason's done. I haven't taken a look at who did what in the preseason, so we'll do that together right now. So as you can see, the lines are a bit different, especially in that bottom six. I don't think the top six really changed with Nees, Matthews, Marner, and then Robertson, Tavares, Nylander. I did try to play around with Nylander on that third line again, as we did in the last season, where he was incredibly good. But you can see now the bottom six is Cowan, Minton, Grebyankin, and in order to get Cowan in the lineup, because he is a junior player, and he didn't really count as a contract. He counted as I can't remember what type of contract it's called, but he didn't count as a contract on the roster. I had to trade away Jake Christensen, who we just brought in through free agency as a depth defender. It didn't really bother me too much, but we sent him out the door. I lost a little bit of GM rep, but what does that really matter nowadays in NHL? EA Sports NHL. Anyways, we made a trade. We got Easton Cowan back into the lineup, into the NHL ice time. I want to see how he did. We have him with Fraser Minton and another rookie in Nikita Grebyankin. So this entire third line is just rookies. Cowan, Minton, Grebyankin. I really want to split them up because I'm nervous about running three rookies, but we'll see. And then the fourth line was Dmitry Ovchynnikov with Nick Abruzzese and Pontus Holmberg, the most seasoned vet being 25-year-old Pontus Holmberg on that fourth line. Between of all the bottom six, pretty much. So you can see how there's a little bit of a lack of experience on that bottom six, but it all depends on how they did in the preseason. Let's see. So Nyes had 5 points through 7 games. He had a really good season for us, so I'm not surprised to see him do good. Matthews obviously killed it. Marner killed it with 11 points in 7 games as well. Robertson was pointless through 7 games. Holy crap. This guy is snake bitten. 8 points in 18 games with Marlies last season, 3 points in 33 games with the Toronto Maple Leafs last season. And I'm expecting him to be a stellar player for us, and he's not doing it so far. But it's only the preseason. It's only preseason. Tavares with 3 points in 7 games, also not a great sign, and Nylander with 4 points in 7 games. So that entire second line wasn't that good. Didn't get a lot converted, so we'll have to see how they do come the regular season. Easton Cowan with 2 goals and a -5. That's what I'm nervous about. When I put rookies together on one line, they tend to be a minus. And I will say this, as I've said it millions of times in the past, plus minus is not a good individual attribute to judge a player's defensive metrics by, but in EA Sports NHL world, it's all we really have. Fraser Minton with 4 points in 7 games is much better than I expected. And Nikita Grebyankin had 6 assists through 7 games, so I am excited to see what he can do since he's already seeming to get the puck on his stick quite often. Dmitry Ovchynnikov had 1 point. I'm not too chuffed, I'm not too fussed if I have to send him to the minors. That's fine. We do have Blake Wheeler, Calle Yarncrow, William Carrier in the minors, so one of them will come up, and it'll probably be Blake Wheeler to fill that spot. Nick Abruzzese with 1 point in 7 games. Again, he's more of a fourth liner. I'm hoping to get him some offensive time because he's got great defensive skills, but he also has great offensive attributes. And then Pontus Holmberg with 2 points in 7 games. Again, I really want to get him some ice time in the top 9. Defensively, I didn't change up much. We have Riley Pesce, our new defensive pairing, and with Riley having 5 points in 7 games, and so same with Pesce, 5 points in 7 games, I'm pretty excited for what they can do in the regular season. Then we do have Nicholas Hag and Logan Stanley, our new defensive pairing on that third pair. And again, excited to see what they can do, even though they were a little rocky in the preseason, both with a minus in their minus column. So they also didn't log a lot of ice time. So maybe we definitely have to bump him up to that pair with Benoit and do Hag, Benoit, and McCabe, Stanley on the third pair, and that doesn't bother me too much, honestly. But I'm going to make a few line changes here because we do have a few players that are maybe not ready yet, maybe a few players who are ready for a small NHL stint, but let's see what we can do. Alright, and although it may look like I didn't make any changes, I only made changes to the power play. I want to take this team through the first 9 games of the season and see what they can do, see how they gel together and how they work. Now, the first thing I did notice was that Robertson was part of a 5-forward first power play unit with Matthews, Marner, Tavares, and Nylander, and he still went pointless. So I jumbled it up a little bit. I put Tavares on the second power play unit with I believe it was Easton Cowan, Nikita Grebyankin, and Morgan Riley and Matthew Nyes. So it's a little jumbled up now. I can actually just show you guys, but you can see that it is Robertson with Matthews, Marner, Nylander, and Minton on that first power play unit, and then on the second power play unit, Easton Cowan, Nikita Grebyankin, Matthew Nyes, Morgan Riley, and John Tavares on that second unit. And I am nervous about having Tavares on the point. I wouldn't mind just taking him off the power play, especially if he struggles this year, because it'll drop down his price. I know that might seem bad, but I gotta negotiate. We are looking for every penny saved right now, and if I can save money on John Tavares, I'll save money on him. That's what I'll do. But this is how we're gonna go to start our regular season. All right, we're here, game 1 of 82 for your Toronto Maple Leafs 2024-2025 NHL season. And I forgot to mention what that trade offer was earlier, and it was quite insane. You guys let me know. I don't even know if it'll be on the table or if it's something we need, but the Calgary Flames were offering us Dustin Wolf for, I believe it had like Pontus Holmberg, an AHL player, and Jay Christensen, who I ended up trading away. No picks, no major players, no roster players really aside from Holmberg. And I did decline it because we have Joe Woll, we have Dennis Hildeby, we have Ilya Samsonov as currently a third depth goalie on the roster. So I didn't think we needed Dustin Wolf, but I didn't really take a look. I kind of suspected that because his value was so low that he wasn't that great. And quickly, before we jump into simming, I want to say thank you guys so much for all the love and all the support. As of recording this video, we just hit 100 subs yesterday, and I can't believe I did that in just about a month and a half with all your guys' support. I couldn't have done it without you guys. You guys are amazing. If you're not subscribed, help me grow. Subscribe, hit the subscribe button, especially if you're liking this content. And another thing is that, as I said, once I hit 100 subscribers, we will start streaming. So this week, streams will be going live. I'll be posting it as a community post on the channel when you'll know to look out for it. It'll probably be on Twitch, but thank you guys so much. That's been awesome. You guys have been awesome. This has been a fun journey. Let's get into simming. So as we always do with the first and last games of the video, we slow sim them. Let's see, how do we do in our regular season opener against the Florida Panthers? First period. And it's scoreless after 1, shots 11-10 for your Toronto Maple Leafs. All right, second period. And finally, a goal is scored, but it's by the Florida Panthers. Grigory Denisenko notches one on Joe Woll. Shots are 21-19 for the Panthers currently. So it's a very tight game. It's a much tighter game than I expected it to be, but I'm not complaining too much. We're going to slow sim this third period here, see what happens, see what unfolds. We get a power play right away, and that unit does not convert. We'll see. E2 lost a run and gets a goal for the Panthers, putting them up 2-0. And then Matthew Tkachuk adds another, followed by Anton Lundell. We finally get on the board, and none other than John Tavares does score that one, but we are now trailing by 3. The score is 5-1 as Brandon Montour adds one on Dennis Hildeby, and Carter Verhaeghe adds another. So we are blowing the pot wide open. I said it was a tight game, and sure enough, it gets wide open and loose as the Florida Panthers notch 5 third period goals and win this one by a score of 6-1. Hildeby got his first NHL action, and unfortunately it did not go too well for him. And Joe Woll letting in 4 goals before getting pulled is it's an unnerving thought. Again, we are going with a new head coach this season. I didn't fire the last one. I kind of just relegated him to the AHL, but not a great way to open up our season. But now we're here against the Carolina Hurricanes at the PNC Arena. We're going to quick sim this one, see how it does. And it's an 8-3 win. We bounce back, and look at that. Fraser Minton gets a hat trick and adds the assist for 4 points in the second game of the season. So that is much better news. Game 3 at home at the Scotiabank Arena against the Montreal Canadiens. Let's quick sim this one, see how it goes. And Nick Hague is injured with a concussion till pretty much the later half of November. So that's not good. He's out for about a month with a concussion. We lose that one 4-3, but look at that. Nikita Grabyankin, 3 games in, is currently leading the team with 5 points in 3 games. So we're having a rocky start to the season. We're allowing a lot more goals than I'd like us to. I'm not really liking the looks of this, if I'm being completely honest, but we're going to have to wait it out. Game 4 against the Dallas Stars. Let's see. We're in Scotiabank Arena still. Can we win this one? Nicholas Robertson's out with a sore knee for at least the next week, and we lose that one 5-4. And John Tavares is putting up a pretty tidy season with 6 points so far through his first 4 games. First half of a back-to-back here against the Detroit Red Wings, game 5 of the season. We're going to quick sim this one, see how it goes. And it's a 5-2 loss. So now it's time for me to take a look at the lines because this team is absolutely sucking. Also, I want to give a quick disclaimer. The load times are different than normal videos because I'm currently playing this on an Xbox One. I really had a limit of the time that I had to record this one, so it's probably going to be a shorter video where I'm not going to get as much done. See, I was able to do a whole almost monologue in that time that it took to load up the lines. But let's see how everyone's been doing. So on that top line, Nyes has 5 points through 5 games, Matthews with 4 points through 5 games, and Marner with 6 points through 5 games. And you know what? I think it's time, guys. I think it's time to break up that top line and maybe do a little reunion of Nylander with Matthews on that top line. Again, Tavares was doing very good, and if we look at Nylander, he had 4 points in 4 points in 5 games. So that's not too bad. Max Ellis just gets in for 1 game and he's a -2. Let's see how Robertson was doing before he went down to injury. He finally put up points. 3 points in 4 games. Holy crap. He was doing very well. So when we get him back in, he'll go back with Tavares and Marner, I guess. Easton Cowan, though, that's the big one. He is the starting line. I'm expecting this to be a bit of a heavy minus line. Let's see. And it is 1 goal through 5 games for Cowan and a -3. Minton with only that 4-point game and no other points in other games. So that's actually very concerning. He's a -3 as well. And Nikita Grabyankin with 5 points in 5 games. Not as concerning. Ovchinnikov with 2 goals in 5 games, which is pretty good. Rosesi with 2 points in 5 games, and Holmberg with 1 point through 5 games. So we do have a forward-based coach. I'm a little nervous that he's not going to be rolling this 4th line as much, so I'm going to give them the starting line. They're a little more defensively based anyways, and I'm also going to be splitting some things up here. And you know what? The big one that I'm going to be doing is Grabyankin is going up to that top line with Matthews and Nylander. Max Ellis is going to that 3rd line with Cowan and Minton. And it will be Nyes, Tavares, Marner until Robertson gets back. And then you know what? I probably am going to put Nyes, even though he's doing good. He's got 5 points in 5 games, 3 goals. I want to put him down probably on the lower line here with Cowan and Minton to see if he can get them some offense. If not, then we might see Cowan and Minton possibly demoted. Maybe not Minton, probably Cowan, though. He's listed as a depth forward, so he still has time to grow. And I think he would go right back down to the London Knights. So, and then defensively, Riley and Pesce are doing decent. I mean, Pesce's putting up more points than I expected him to. Riley being a -2 is a little concerning. Valimaki with 2 points, 2 games played. Oh yeah, he was a scratch. So he's come in replacement of Nick Hague. I'm excited to see what he can do. Benoit, 2 points in 5 games and a -3. McCabe's doing decently, and Logan Stanley's not doing too bad. So we might switch it up like this and do Valimaki Stanley on that second pair. Or even like switch it up and break up that beautiful top line. But again, we're just 5 games into the season. Let's wait it out a little longer and see what happens. And then Joe Woll has been nothing short of abysmal. 859 save percentage through 5 games played with a 4.31 goals against average. He's backup. How's Hildeby done? He's only got one. Oh, he only got 1 chance to play. He faced 4 shots, let in 2 goals. Got a 500 save percentage and a 10 goals against average. So we're gonna actually scratch Samsonov, or scratch Woll, put Samsonov in the backup role, and we're gonna give Dennis Hildeby his first start because I don't count his first NHL action as that game that he filled in for Woll. Dennis Hildeby is getting in here, and we're going to slow sim this one against the Washington Capitals to see how he does. All right, second half of a back-to-back. A young 23-year-old Dennis Hildeby in net for your Toronto Maple Leafs, and we're looking to see if we can bounce things out and get this season going the right way. First period. And it's a 1-1 tie after 1. Dylan Strome gets a power play goal for the Capitals, followed by Jake McCabe with 3 minutes left in the period, tying it up 1-1. Shots of 13-11 for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Second period. All right, a little more scoring in that period. Grunstrom opens the scoring of the second for the Washington Capitals, followed by John Tavares tying it up 2-2 just for Dylan Strome to net his second of the game and put the Caps up 3-2. Shots are currently even, 22 apiece, and we're going into this third period here. I'm going to quick sim it because I'm running a little low on time. Third period. And it's not a good look. Matthews gets a goal opening the scoring for the third period for your Toronto Maple Leafs, tying it up. Craig Smith makes it 4-3 for the Washington Capitals. Matthew Knies ties it up 4-4 just for Dylan Strome to notch the hat trick and then add a fourth goal, an empty netter. And this one's in the books. The Washington Capitals take that one 6-4. And guys, I think we're starting to get a real big problem on our hands. And I think maybe our little experiment is going to have to come to an end. We're going to wait it out. But at the beginning of the season, you really can't risk it too long. We're back at home against the Chicago Blackhawks here. I'm keeping Hill to be in net, even though he's done a little abysmally so far. We're going to quick sim this one. Let's see. Game 7 of the season. Long sim time, and we win that one 4-1. Okay, so a good solid game by Hildeby and a good solid game by the team. So we're going to keep it going for a little longer. Game 8 against the Carolina Hurricanes. I wanted to go to 9 games in this video, at least with this current lineup, and see what we could do. So game 8 against the Carolina Hurricanes. You're going to quick sim this one, see what happens. William Nylander is out with injured ribs for the next week and a half or 2 weeks. So that's not a good sign. We're going to quick replace him because Nick Robertson's fully back. And we lose that one 7-6. So guys, the experiment's over. Let me make some line changes. All right, and after a bit of a bloodbath of demotions and relegating people back down to the minors, our lines look like this. We have Grebyankin with Matthews and Marner on that top line, Robertson back with Tavares and Knies on that second line. Carconi called up from the minors, who has 7 points in 5 games with the Marlies. So I'm excited to see what production he can do with us in the big leagues, with Minton and Wheeler, who's been called up, who had 5 points in 5 games, down with the Marlies. And then Yarncrow with Aberzazi and Holmberg on the fourth line. Now, the big cuts were of Chinnikov and Cowan from this forward core because they weren't panning out the way I wanted them to. Okay, Cowan had 1 point in 8 games. Minton was doing a bit better. Look at him, 6 points in 8 games with 5 goals. He's a -4, but I don't know what that was necessarily from. And then Grebyankin is the highlight so far with 9 points in 8 games, playing between the third and first line. And you know what? I'm excited to keep him on that first line with Matthews and Marner and see what he can do. And when Nylander gets back, I do plan to put Knies on the fourth line here, or on the third line here, and go Knies, Minton, Wheeler, or maybe even put Nylander down with Carconi, or Nylander down with Knies and Minton, and do like Knies, Minton, Nylander with Robertson, Tavares, Wheeler on that second line. But right now, this is what we have. This is what we're running. There was another notable cut and another notable line change. It's now Riley Benoit on the top pair, Valimaki Pesci on the second pair, and then McCabe Stanley on that third pair. I'm tempted to kind of flip it up like this and kind of see like if Valimaki Pesci would be better. But honestly, I do like the attribute boosts from the line chemistry right now, so we're going to roll it like that. Another change that we did make was Dennis Hildeby was not NHL caliber yet. He has been sent to the minors. It will be Ilya Samsonov and Joseph Woll as our goaltending tandem until Hildeby can get a little better, because as we can see, Hildeby didn't stop anything really. He was a slight bit worse than Joe Woll. We still have a bit of time with him, but I want to get him to develop. And we still have William Carrier, Nick Camano, Kiefer Bellows in the minors. We still have Josh Mahura, Connor Timmins, Vinny Iorio in the minors for the defensive core. We have depth. We just got to find the right combination. And it also might start with the coaching. I did make a coaching change. I put our current NHL coach back with the AHL squad, and then called up Fratton, who was our coach from last season, to be our coach for this season. He at least got a little bit of success with this team, so we'll see if we can get some more success, because this team is worse than I could have imagined. A 2-4-2 through the first 8 games of the season is just not acceptable. But we're going to go here till about game 15 of the season, and then we're going to see where we stand. We're coming up on game 9 here against the struggling Bruins team at the TD Gardens in Boston. Let's see how we do. Quick sim. It's a long one. It's a 4-1 win. Oh, look at that. That's a much better sign. Hopefully we can keep the momentum rolling here against the Tampa Bay Lightning at Amalie Arena in Tampa Bay, Florida. How do we do? It's another 4-1 win. Oh my gosh. Samsonov is closing the door up against the Columbus Blue Jackets here. Back in Toronto as Ryan Tverberg goes down to an injury with the Marlies. We're back in Toronto at the Scotiabank Arena, day before my birthday. Leafs got to get a win here. They got to get a win here. We got to go 5-4-2. Let's see. How do we do against the strong league Blue Jackets team? Obviously, we lose it 5-4 in a shootout. I was speaking way too fast there. We're going up against a really powerful Montreal Canadiens team now, though. Mitch Marner's been on a bit of a heater lately. We're going to see how we do against a 12-2. Oh, Ryan Suzuki. Hold on. Sorry, a player came available on waivers. I'm going to pass on that. But we're up against a 12-2-0 Montreal Canadiens team on the season with a 9-1-0 in their last 10 record. Let's see how we do here. Game 12 of the season. Will it be a win against the Montreal Canadiens at Scotiabank Arena? No, I do not want Joel Edmondson. I want to know how our team did. And it's a 1-0 loss. Okay, so it's a loss, but it's not a big loss. I can kind of accept that. We're up against a kind of middling New York Rangers team. I'm sure they'll turn it on as the season progresses. Game 13 of the season. How do we do? Jake McCabe goes down with a strained hamstring for the next 2 weeks. And William Nylander's fully back, so I'll get him in the lines once I see how we did. And we lose 5-2. So that's not the greatest sign. We had a bit of a spark in the pan there, and then we fell right back off. So let me get these lines set. All right, it took me nearly a decade to get these lines set up, but we are back. Yep, Grebyankin with Matthews and Marner on that top line because they're doing great. 12 points in 13 games for Grebyankin. 15 points in 13 games for Austin Matthews with 7 goals. And then Marner is doing crazy with 19 points in 13 games. Robertson's back in on that second line with John Tavares, and he's done fairly well. 6 points in his 9 games so far. So that's great. And now he's back with William Nylander as well, who had 7 points in 8 games before going down to injury. So we'll see how that goes. And now it's Nyes, Minton, Wheeler as that starting third line for us. And I want to see if Wheeler can have a good impact on Minton and Nyes, and currently they're doing very well. 10 points in 13 games for Nyes and 11 points in 13 games for Fraser Minton. So we might have our new second line center on our hands already. Our new second line combination with Nyes and Minton coming right up. But we're going to do 2 more games, and I'm sorry that this is a bit of a shorter video. It's mostly because the sim times take so damn long. Maybe I'll get to 20 games. We'll see how I'm feeling. PPG Paints Arena here in Pittsburgh for game 14 of the season. Let's see how we do. Can we bounce back? And Nicholas Hague is full back, so I will put him back in the lines after I see how we did. And we win that one 5-1. Very good sign, very good sign. I'm going to get Nick Hague in the lineup. Wish me luck. It's going to take a bit. So as a quick reference, when Jake McCabe got hurt, I did replace player and I put William Nylander in because I realized we didn't have an extra defenseman. So I called up Vinny Iorio, and I guess he did pretty good with 1 assist and 1 game played. I also did make some line changes. Riley is now on that second pair with Iorio, with Valimaki and Pesce on the top one. I don't really want to take Valimaki out. 5 points in 11 games and a +4, playing top line minutes with Pesce. It's not going to happen. I think it's going to be Logan Stanley coming out. He's done fairly well, but it's between Logan Stanley and Simon Benoit, and I'm sorry, I don't really want to take Iorio out. I want to give him one more chance. So we're going to take Logan Stanley out for the current time. We're going to put Nick Hague back in, and they're currently a -1, so I'll have to make, I guess, a little bit of changes here. Give me 1 sec. So you know what? I decided I'm just going to stick with it. The -1 is a -1. It'll be Hague and Benoit on that third pair, and we'll see what we can do. As you can see, we currently don't have any chemistry boosts for the defensive core. It's just the way it works. First half of a back-to-back in Toronto against the New York Islanders. We always lose to the Islanders. They're currently 6-10-0, so it's even more of a sign that we're going to lose to them. We're going to quick sim this one. Game 15 of the season. Let's see how we do. Jake McCabe has returned to the lineup. I want to see how the team does. Let me get the roster set. Okay, as much as I didn't want to send him down, Vinny Iorio has been sent down to the minors. Jake McCabe's still a little banged up, but I didn't know who else to really send down right now. It's going to be Riley and Hague on that second pair, McCabe and Benoit on the third pair, and hope to God McCabe doesn't get hurt again. I really don't want to deal with any more of injuries right now, but that game against the Islanders, we win it 4-3. So, oh my gosh, we actually win a game against the New York Islanders. We're rolling here. Let's do game 16 against The Nashville Predators, second half of a back-to-back, still at Scotiabank Arena, so we should be a little more well-rested than we normally would be. And Nick Eberszeze goes down with a pulled groin till the end of November, so we'll just quickly replace him. And we win that one 4-3 as well. So your Toronto Maple Leafs are currently 6-2-2 in their last 10, going up against the Pittsburgh Penguins here, still at home, still rested. Let's see, can we have a good game here? And Jake McCabe is fully healed. He didn't get injured. We win that one 4-1. We are rolling. The Mitch Marner train has started, and he is carrying this team on his back. I think that entire top line, honestly, is doing amazing here. Connor Timmins goes down to an injury with the Marlies. Doesn't really matter. We're game 18 here with the against the Vancouver Canucks. Guys, I'm sorry. I am on a bit of a rush. So whenever I rush, whenever I kind of like speed through things, I cannot get my brain to function at the slower pace that my mouth can work at. So if I end up getting diagnosed with some sort of speech impediment or something like that, guys, don't be surprised. I probably will be surprised, but I shouldn't be. I stumble and stutter so much in these videos. It's crazy. Let's go against the Vancouver Canucks here. Game 18 at the Scotiabank Arena. And it is... I do not want Justin Hull back on this team no matter what. It is a 6-2 win. Your Toronto Maple Leafs are grooving. We are moving and grooving against the Nashville Predators here again. Let's see if we can beat them once more. We're in Nashville, Tennessee this time, and we win that one 4-3. Holy crap, the Leafs are doing great. We are doing great. Game 20 of the video coming up here. A first half of a home and home actually against the Winnipeg Jets. And you know what? I would be tempted to do both halves of the home and home, but we're just going to do the first half here in Winnipeg because this is the first time we're facing the Jets since they beat us in the Stanley Cup Finals last season. So we're going to slow sim this one and see if we can rub a little bit of salt in the wounds and go like, hey, you beat us, but just barely. We're back, and we're going to beat you if we face you again. But let's go first period. And we're down 1-0. So I spoke too soon. Maybe the Winnipeg Jets are a pretty good team. They currently lead in shots as well, 12-9. Second period. And we tied up a goal by Juuso Välimäki. Answers for the goal that Nino Niederreiter scored in the first period for the Winnipeg Jets. Shots are currently 21-19 for the Jets. Going into the third period, I'm going to quick sim this one because I am all out of time. Third period. And they're dragging this out. Cole Perfetti puts the Jets up 2-1. Nick Robertson ties it up with 8 minutes left in the third period. They're outshooting us 35-29, but the score is currently 2 apiece. Overtime. And nothing is solved in overtime. I would jump into it, but this console will probably explode if I try. So shootout. And the Jets, sure enough, take this game in the shootout in Winnipeg. And there is nothing better than beating the Leafs for the Winnipeg Jets. Nothing better as they take this one and end our little winning streak that we had. So let's do a little quick roundup of how the team has done through the first 20 games of the season. All right, and after 20 games, Nikita Grabiankin has 20 points. He's currently jumped up to an 81 overall, so he's looking absolutely fantastic for us. Matthews with 10 goals and 18 assists for 28 points through 20 games is insane. Marner with 30 points in 20 games. That top line is moving and grooving, and it might be in part because of the rookie Nikita Grabiankin getting things going. On that second line, though, Nick Robertson has 8 points in 16 games, so he has slowed down quite a bit. I'll take a look to see if he's properly set up on the power play still. John Tavares with 17 points in 20 games, so maybe the second line has just slowed down a bit. And then Nylander has actually picked it up with 16 points in 15 games. So that's fairly good production from our top six. Matthew Knies with 17 points in 20 games is very good. Fraser Minton with 15 points in 20 games in his first NHL season is very good. And Blake Wheeler with 8 points in 12 games is very good production for our entire top nine. Holy crap. And then on the fourth line, Jarn Crow with 2 points in 12 games. That's not too bad. Michael Carconi, who did come out of the lineup originally when Nylander came back, is back in. He's got 1 point in 9 games. And Pontus Holmberg with 4 points in 20 games. I got to get him up on that third line. Maybe we put Wheeler down here. That'll be an experiment for the next video. Let's look at our defense currently. Juuso Välimäki has 7 points in 17 games. That's a great pickup. That's worth a first round pick that we traded for him. Brett Pesce with 11 points in 20 games is great production. 9 points in 20 games for Morgan Riley is a little startling, but still pretty good. Nick Hague with 2 points in 9 games, very good. McCabe with 6 points in 18 games is shockingly one of our top defensive scorers. And then Benoit with 4 points in 20 games. Looks like our defensive core has rounded out. And then goaltending, Samsonov has taken the net and run with it. Holy crap. 8 wins through 12 games, 931 save percentage, 223 goals against average. He has done astounding for us. Absolutely astounding. Wool hasn't even gotten any ice time since then. We got to get Wool into the lineup, but he hasn't really gotten a chance. Samsonov has just taken the net and run with it. He's like, I'm the starter. That's it. I'm the starting goaltender. And what do we have? We have him for 1 more year at 1.5 million. Oh, crap. Maybe I should have tried to lock him up long term. But that's going to wrap it up for this video. Guys, if you have any suggestions aside from playing on a better console, let me know. I think this lineup is good for the next video. And in the next video, we will go straight to the trade deadline and see where our team stands. If we're good, if it doesn't look like there's any changes that need to be made, I might just sim the entirety of the remainder of the season in the next video, because I don't know where we would make additions aside from adding like a stupidly good player on a third, fourth line role or a third pairing role. I'm not sure. But that's going to be it for us, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you like this video, as I said earlier, please leave a like down below. It only lets me know what type of content you want to see more of. Also, thank you guys so much for 100 subscribers. I can't thank you guys even close to enough. You guys are all amazing. And yeah, no, that's going to end it for this one. Sorry if I'm a little off. It's just because of the timeline, because of the lower console, and because I didn't upload a video for 2 days, and I'm currently a little panicked. I just get these like intrusive, like paranoid thoughts, like, oh, the YouTube algorithm's gonna screw me. But I am done this one. Thank you guys so much for joining me. You've all been amazing, and I'll see you guys in the next one.